Jesus Christ performed several miracles. Yet, based on our analogy of the fish, our interest is not just in the miracles he performed. We are particular about the characteristics that are exclusive to God. As I earlier mentioned, I'll be bringing to you the biblical perspective of this matter. And so, can we search the scriptures to find if there are things that only God can do? Well, Job, a man who lived in Uz, who feared God, he was blameless, he turned away from evil. He was a man that God could boast of even when the devil came around, who even in the heat of his affliction, he refused to curse God and die. Hear what Job had to say when his friends came to confront him about the misfortune that had befallen him. So we read from the 9th chapter of the book of Job. Then Job answered and said, "Truly, I know that it is so. But how can a man be in the right before God? If one wished to contend with him, one could not answer him once in 1,000 times. He is wise in heart and mighty in strength. Who has hardened himself against him and succeeded? He who removes mountains and they know it not, when he overturns them in his anger. Who shakes the earth out of its place, and its pillars tremble. Who commands the sun, and it does not rise. Who seals up the stars, who alone stretched out the heavens and trampled the waves of the sea." So from this one, we can see that God in his authority can command the natural elements. Now let's see what Jesus Christ did when he was here physically. So we'll just read from the Gospel of Mark, the 4th chapter, and from the 35th verse. On that day, when evening had come, he said to them, "Let us go across to the other side." And leaving the crowd, they took him with them in the boat, just as he was. And other boats were with him. And a great wind storm arose, and the waves were breaking into the boat, so that the boat was already filling. But he was in the stern, asleep on the cushion. And they woke him and said to him, "Teacher, do you not care that we are perishing?" And he awoke and rebuked the wind and said to the sea, "Peace, be still." And the wind ceased, and there was a great calm. He said to them, "Why are you so afraid? Have you still no faith?" And they were filled with great fear and said to one another, "Who then is this, that even the wind and the sea obey him?" That question is very important. Who is this? Who is this that even the natural elements respond to him at his command? That's not all. We would have to look at another one. We will look at the Gospel of Matthew, the 14th chapter, and we'll start from the 22nd verse. Immediately, he made the disciples get into the boat and go before him on the other side, while he dismissed the crowds, because Jesus had just performed one interesting miracle. He multiplied bread and fed 5,000 people. And after he had dismissed the crowds, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. When evening came, he was there alone. But the boat by this time was a long way from the land. So the boat had moved really fast, beaten by the waves, for the wind was already against them. And in the 4th watch of the night, he came to them, walking on the sea. But when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, They were terrified and said, "It is a ghost." And they cried out in fear. Now, let's just skip a bit, because this is what happened. And then Peter, at a point, Peter being one of his 12 closest followers, that's the apostles, Peter asked him, can I come and walk with you if indeed you are Jesus? And he said, "Oh, come." And so Peter attempted, and while walking on the water, he got carried away and began to sink, and then Jesus helped him. Now, and when they got into the boat, that is Jesus Christ and Peter, the wind ceased. And those in the boat worshipped him, saying, "Truly, you are the Son of God." And so you see that we've seen one instance, or we've seen now two instances where Jesus Christ did something that definitely only God can do. So we are not just talking about his words, what he said. We are seeing what he did. Now let's consider another one. In the beginning, we see how God created. In the book of Genesis, the book of the beginnings. We see in the second chapter, we will just read from the 4th verse. "These are the generations of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. When no bush of the field was yet in the land, and no small plant of the field had yet sprung up. For the Lord God had not caused it to rain on the land, and there was no man to walk the ground. And the mist was going up from the land and was watering the whole face of the ground. Then the Lord God formed the man of dust from the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And the man became a living creature." So we are seeing that God at creation, he took dust from the ground and then he formed the man. Now let's see something that happens when Jesus Christ shows up. In the Gospel of John, the 9th chapter. As he passed by, he saw a man blind from birth. And his disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" Jesus answered, "It was not that this man sinned or his parents, but that the works of God might be displayed in him. We must work the works of him who sent me while it is day. Night is coming when no one can walk. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world." Having said these things, he spit on the ground and made mud with saliva. Then he anointed the man's eyes with the mud and said to him, "Go, wash in the pool of Siloam," which means sent. So he went and washed and came back seeing. This man is born blind, or this man was born blind. This man comes and he meets Jesus. Now, Jesus has performed so many healings. He has healed many blind people. But something is peculiar about this one. And I wonder why Jesus chose to use this method to perform this healing. And of course, the answer is not far-fetched. We just saw that God, first of all, it takes God to create from scratch, from the beginning. And so God made the man. He took dust and made the man. And then Jesus comes and sees a man that there was no eye in the beginning, there was no eye at all. He was born blind. And so God, Jesus Christ, now wants to create the eyes. And what does he do? He takes the dust again. He picks sand, he pours saliva, he forms the mud, he does this. He tells the man, go wash, and he comes back seeing. Again, we have seen two instances or two kinds of things that Jesus Christ did that are peculiar to God.